Hi, I'm Mark, and today on Outside Views I want to talk about Brexit benefits. Yeah, I found some, but not for the ones that wanted them. While more than half of Britons want closer ties with Europe, once fanatical Brexiteers are declaring the exit a flop, and they're right with that. And there are indeed Brexit benefits, just not in the way the Brexiteers imagined. But the German economy is happy. And as a business location, Germany is more popular with foreign investors than ever before. The announced investments for the past year indicate new record values. The British, in particular, are looking for a foothold in the European Union after Brexit. Despite the Ukraine crisis and record inflation in 2022, last year companies from all over the world announced that they would invest 25.3 billion euros in projects in Germany. This is shown by figures from Germany Trade and Invest, the GTI, and Federal Marketing Agency for Germany's as a business location. However, a large part of the money will only flow in the following years. The American chip manufacturer Intel also wants to invest 17 billion euros in a factory in Magdeburg. But even after deducting the record amount from the Americans, foreign direct investment rose from 7 billion euros in Corona year 21 to 8.3 billion euros last year. In total, the companies announced 1,783 projects in Germany, about as many as in 21. But after the USA and Switzerland, companies from the United Kingdom follow with 170 announced economic projects. That's plus 21%. It's particularly important for British companies to gain a foothold in the European Union after Brexit, says GTI Managing Director Robert Herrmann. Despite all the economic crises, the German economy has proven its strength and is valued by companies from all over the world. And according to GTI, most foreign direct investments went into the areas of semiconductors, renewable energy, digitization, logistics, and services. At the forefront of UK investment is the announced 300 million euros for a new distribution centre for Sports Direct Group, which is part of Britain's Frasers Group. Bitburg Airport is to become the new European headquarters of the online retailer. According to the Financial Times, other British companies from the chemical and marketing sectors also want to gain a foothold in Germany. On the other hand, the economic importance of the British for German foreign trade is declining noticeably, as the GTI already reported in the spring. I talked about this. British companies apparently prefer to do their business directly in Germany and the European Union. Since leaving the EU, Great Britain is no longer part of the European Customs Union. For goods with a value of 150 euros or more, a customs fee is payable. Another development can be seen on the part of Chinese investors. I just add them to get the whole picture. According to GTI, the Chinese announced only 141 economic projects. That's a decline to the lowest level in 8 years. But there are also other developments. For example, during a visit to London on Thursday, Bavaria's Europe Minister Melanie Hummel officially opened the Bavarian office there. The General Secretary of the Conservative Party, Greg Hands, attended the reception alongside representatives of the British government, business associations and companies, as well as well-known British universities. And Hummel said, "Despite Brexit, the United Kingdom remains an important partner for our Free State." That's what Bavaria is called. Bavaria and especially Upper Franconia have special historical connections to the island. Prince Albert of Saxe-Coburg and Gotha married his cousin British Queen Victoria in 1840. Hummel had previously exchanged views with Lord Dominic Johnson of Lainston, Minister of State at the UK Department of Economy and Trade. Among other things, Hummel emphasized that the Bavarian universities were still very interested in working with British universities. She advocated making it easier for German students to obtain visas. In addition, through close cooperation in technology and innovation, Bavaria and the United Kingdom could make important contributions to shaping the green and digital transformation in future fields such as artificial intelligence, e-mobility, and aerospace. Among other things, Johnson was interested in improving the framework conditions for closer cooperation in the automotive industry. Bavaria and the United Kingdom want to sign a joint cooperation agreement before the summer break. With the official opening of the office in the United Kingdom, the Free State wants to open a new chapter in Bavarian-British relations, said Hummel. The liaison office in the UK started operations in February 2022. The office, which offers a central contact point for all those involved in Bavarian-British cooperation in a co-working space in the heart of London, is headed by the lawyer Anna Schenach. An important task of the office is to promote economic exchange between Bavaria and Great Britain after Brexit. The office will also make a contribution in other fields such as science and innovation, education, youth exchange and culture in order to further deepen Bavaria's relations with the United Kingdom. Brexit, as you know, refers to the United Kingdom's withdrawal from the European Union, and it has had several negative consequences for the UK, and it made such an office necessary. While the full impact of Brexit is still unfolding, and it's essential to note that there are differing opinions on these consequences, I can highlight some widely discussed negative aspects today as well. The UK's departure from the EU has resulted in economic disruptions and uncertainties, and that's undisputed by the majority. The process of negotiating new trade agreements with the EU and other countries has been complex and time-consuming. The uncertainty surrounding trade terms and potential tariffs has led to reduced investment and hindered business planning, reduced investment in the UK. Certain sectors, such as manufacturing and financial services, have experienced challenges due to increased trade barriers and regulatory changes. Leaving the EU's single market and customs union has led to increased trade frictions and administrative burdens. Custom checks and regulatory requirements have been introduced, impacting the flow of goods and services between the UK and the EU. And some UK businesses have faced difficulties exporting their products to EU countries, resulting in delays and additional costs. And as a result of Brexit, UK-based financial services firms have lost their automatic passporting rights, which previously allowed them to provide services across the EU. And many financial institutions have established EU subsidiaries to maintain access to the European market, leading to some job relocations and potential long-term impacts on London's status as a global financial hub, and there are still transitional periods in place at the moment. The UK has been a significant recipient of EU funding, particularly in areas such as regional development, research and agriculture. And after Brexit, the UK has no longer access to these funds, creating a gap in financing for various projects and initiatives. And the UK government is not replacing it completely. The UK has historically benefited from the free movement of labour within the EU, allowing citizens from other EU countries to work and live in the UK. And with Brexit, the UK has introduced a new immigration system, which may and does limit the availability of skilled workers from the EU and impact sectors that heavily rely on EU labour, such as healthcare, construction and hospitality. Brexit has strained the relationships between the UK's four nations as well: England, Scotland, Wales and Northern Ireland. Scotland voted to remain in the EU, and the UK's departure has reignited discussions about Scottish independence. And Northern Ireland faces unique challenges due to its land border with EU member state Ireland, resulting in the implementation of the Northern Ireland Protocol, which has caused political tensions, and now the Windsor Framework as well. As a member of the EU, the UK had a significant role in shaping and influencing EU foreign policy. With Brexit, the UK has lost this direct influence, which may have implications for its ability to project power and pursue its global interests effectively. But all those points were ignored by the Brexiteers at the time of the referendum. They just had, I really have to bring it back, the unicorn, because there were so many promised unicorns, and everybody knows if I promise you a unicorn, I cannot deliver one, except a stuffed toy one, but that's not what they expected. And Brexit will never be what they promised. And they can say, we didn't get the Brexit we wanted. Yeah, they wanted a hard Brexit. For the sake of all the sane people in Britain that are already suffering from the smaller consequence of Brexit compared to the ones they would have if they got the Brexit they wanted. For the sake of those people, I am so glad that this hadn't happened, because the Brexit those hardcore Brexiteers wanted was a hard Brexit. No ties with the EU like they have them now. That would have harmed the British economy much, much worse than Brexit already did. And just for their little dream castles there. And the normal people in the UK, wherever in the UK, would have suffered much more. And the cost of living crisis would have been exacerbated, I don't know how much. And I'm glad I don't know how much, because a lot of more people would be in real trouble than are now. And there are enough people that have not been in trouble before Brexit that are in trouble now, because Brexit exacerbated everything else. Brexit exacerbated the consequences of the inflation, the consequences of the Russian war against Ukraine, and everything else. And the COVID pandemic, of course. Everything was exacerbated by Brexit. You can see this if you have a look on similar economies on the continent, how they did during the economy, during the inflation, and so on. For the sake of the people, I'm happy that the British government at least found, I wouldn't say in comparison to their government, I wouldn't talk about some census, but at least found a stop to their ambitions about Brexit, and they negotiated the TCA the way we have it now. It's not good for either side. But the alternative would have been far worse. And as I had to say, there are some Brexit benefits, but not for Britain. I haven't found any for Britain yet. For the sane people in Britain, I mean. And we will not find so many so soon. But Brexit is a gift that keeps on giving. But also Brexit is Brexit, and it is what it is. Only in time we will see what will happen in British politics and how the stance in the long term will be on Brexit and the relationship on the EU. But it could have been worse, seriously, if people like Farage got their will with Brexit, and some of those trolls that are always talking about that's not the Brexit I voted for. In my Brexit quiz, I put the exact wording from the ballots. So if you haven't played the Brexit quiz yet, try it. It's on Outside Views Games. And there you will also see the exact wording of the ballot paper, and then tell me again what Brexit you voted for. And I'll see you in my next video. I'll be back.